The battle of the budget continuing in D.C. tonight, and it's already having a big impact here in the CSRA. We've got the latest right now on NBC 26 News at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paige Tucker. We are day one into the first U.S. government shutdown in 17 years. Hundreds of thousands of government workers not earning paychecks today, while many government services are temporarily shut down. Lawmakers continue to debate on Capitol Hill to pass some form of resolution. The House wants to keep a provision in the budget that would make changes to Obamacare. The Senate wants to focus solely on the budget. Both parties pointing blame at the other for not working out a compromise. We talked to some of our area congressmen today about the budget battle.
If the continuing resolution vote
think that's fair.
A Kennebec poll finds 72% of Americans disagree with shutting down government to block Obamacare. A poll done by CNN gives Congress a 10% approval rating, while the president's is now at 44%. NBC's Lauren Walsh spent the day at Fort Gordon, where thousands of workers were immediately impacted by the government shutdown. She is here for you tonight, reporting from Eisenhower Army Medical Center.
Despite the government shutdown, Eisenhower Army Medical News.
If you have any questions about what's going on at Eisenhower, the commander encourages you to call the information line 706-787-5811. In addition to the furloughs there, we know of at least 500 other furloughed workers throughout the installation. If you'd like to read the memo sent out to Fort Gordon staff today, we've got it on our website, NBC26.tv, along with other information about local agencies affected by the government shutdown. Operations and treatment at the VA hospitals, for the most part, will continue, but processing veterans benefits could become an issue. It's estimated that if the shutdown continues another 2 to 3 weeks, the Department of Veterans Affairs would no longer be able to send out pension or disability payments. The support staff for claims processors are off the job and not able to work on the agency's lengthy backload of applications. There is word tonight that the House is trying to get legislation passed that would prevent this from happening. The National Institutes of Health also on the list of affected programs. Half of the research at GRU is funded by grants from the NIH. The CDC and FDA have also suspended operations. The USDA's WIC program for new mothers also taking a hit. Children attending Head Start programs will also be affected because that program is federally funded. National parks, museums, and monuments are all closed to the public. Since the mid-70s, the government has shut down more than 15 times. The most recent was in late 1995 while President Bill Clinton was in office. It lasted for 21 days, but federal workers were paid retroactively. Looking for a silver lining in all of this, that was the year the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. Of course, the main sticking point about the budget is the Affordable Care Act. The Health Insurance Exchange opened enrollment for the first time today. Call centers across the country say they've been helping a large number of people sign up. The healthcare reform will require most Americans to purchase health insurance by 2014. Although there are a few exceptions, if you don't sign up for coverage, you'll likely face a hefty penalty.
If you're not signed up,
To find out coverage options, we've got a link on our website, NBC26.tv, and look for the Understanding the Affordable Care Act button on the right-hand side of our homepage. Topping tonight's crime alert, 2 men in custody tonight for their alleged part in a bank robbery and police chase through Aiken and Richmond counties. It started around 12:30 today at Regions Bank in North Augusta when a man slipped a note to a teller demanding money and claiming to be armed. Employees followed the suspect to a car and eventually public safety officers spotted them. The car fled into downtown Augusta, then drove back into Aiken County, throwing money out of the car along the way. The suspects, identified as George Oakman and David Castle, were eventually captured in Warrenville. Deputies in Richmond County had their own chase early this morning. It started with a disturbance at a Waffle House on Gordon Highway around 5 that led to a police pursuit. The suspect eventually crashed on Sibley Road. At least one person is dead after an afternoon accident on Riverwatch Parkway. Witnesses say the driver was swerving off the road at one point, then came back on again and eventually hit a guardrail. The area near Pleasant Home Road was blocked off for some time as officers worked that scene. The coroner's office says the victim was a 22-year-old man from Evans, but they have not released a name tonight or cause of death. New information about a deadly house fire. 3 people died this morning when an Aiken County home caught fire. NBC 26's Winton Yates has the story. Autopsies of the 3 victims are scheduled for tomorrow morning at SLED's Crime Lab in Newberry. Augusta commissioners getting an early start to their meeting today. This was the first time in several years the meeting has started at 2 p.m. City leaders voted to move the meetings back earlier this month, or move them up rather. Commissioner Grady Smith says starting meetings at 5 put too many city staff on overtime, which costs the city money. The first item on their agenda, what to do with Club Pure Platinum. The business was cited for several alcohol violations, and there was a deadly fight at the bar earlier this year. Probation was recommended and city leaders agreed. The club will be on 6 months probation and will be a bar only now, which means no one under the age of 21 will be allowed inside. Part of the Augusta Canal Trail for joggers and bikers will remain closed tomorrow. Georgia Power is replacing power poles along the towpath from the Lockkeeper's Cottage downstream to near the pump station. The work should be finished and trail reopened tomorrow at 5 p.m. South Carolina's Department of Consumer Affairs launched its new ID theft unit today. The 4-member unit will provide outreach to consumers, letting them know how to better protect themselves and what to do if they become victims of identity theft. The idea was spurred by the hacking of the state's taxpayer database, but it will also help people affected by other security breaches.
I'm in the same boat, so
You can get some help either by calling a toll-free number or going online to consumer.sc.gov.
Your NB.
Get ahead of ourselves, but if a tropical system comes right over our area, that can be a big deal around here, so we'll have to watch it.
All right, no, you'll be on top of that. Thanks, Chris. GRU students and Safe Homes of Augusta are having a supply drive tonight to kick off Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The Purple Light Nights tree lighting will take place on the Quadrangle lawn tonight from 7 to 8. They're looking for items to be donated like cell phones and gift cards. There will also be refreshments and a look forward to events planned for the rest of October. You're invited to purchase a personalized purple ribbon and lend your support in the fight against domestic violence. Next in our health check tonight, we've been talking about the flu for weeks now. We'll have the early numbers on cases popping up around the CSRA and locations for upcoming flu shot clinics when NBC 26 News at 6 returns. Topping tonight's health check, after a fairly mild flu season last year, this season is getting off to an early start. University Hospital confirms 10 cases of influenza among Georgia Regents University students last week. 2 of those students had to be hospitalized. Health officials say getting the flu vaccine is your best protection. They're available at county health departments and many pharmacies. It takes 2 weeks for the vaccine to kick into your immune system so that you can be protected. Columbia County has several flu shot clinics this week, including tomorrow during the grand opening of a new Walmart on Fury's Ferry Road. They are also scheduled Thursday at the Grovetown and Bobby Jones locations from 9 until 3:30. It costs $25 for a shot, $35 for the flu mist. Insurance is accepted, as are cash and checks. Augusta's fountains downtown are now running pink. Today marked the start of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, with pink the official color of the movement. All month long, women are encouraged to conduct breast exams or get a mammogram in hopes of detecting the disease early. New technology is leading to new techniques in everything, including hair replacement. Those battling baldness can now turn to robotic hair transplants. Instead of removing entire strips of hair for transplanting, individual hair follicles are removed robotically. Once the process is complete, small hairs grow and fall out, but results are seen in about 6 months.
I can see exactly where the
new process is very precise and doesn't leave behind any scarring, so it's recommended for those who typically wear their hair short. Some of those touring the Miller Theater during Arts in the Heart captured the historic building through their own perspective. Those photos are now on display for the public. We'll tell you when and where you can look at them, plus vote for your favorites up next. October off to a pretty warm start, it feels like, out there.
Yeah, it depends on what time of day you walk out. The afternoon is very warm. The mornings not as warm. So yeah, it's been very nice weather if you're a fan of fall. I have a photo you might be a fan of. Here's a look at our viewer photo for today. This one is from Linda Irby. This is what Sun's page.
Thanks, Chris. Pictures of the historic Miller Theater are now on display at the Morris Museum of Art. During the Arts in the Heart Festival, the theater was open for tours and a smartphone photo contest. Now you can take a look at how the Miller was captured by regular folks. All submissions can be seen in the first floor education gallery of the Morris Museum through October 20th. A reception for the photos will be held October 10th from 5:30 to 7. The public is invited to look again at the photo entries and vote for their favorite images. The Atlanta Falcons have officially chosen a site where the team's new $1 billion stadium will be built. City officials say the retractable roof stadium will be constructed on the corner of MLK Jr. Drive and North Side. The announcement comes after congregations at 2 historic churches voted to accept tens of millions of dollars from the state and team to relocate. The Falcons hope to open the stadium in time for the 2017 season, and the roughly 21-year-old Georgia Dome will be demolished.
They went for a very classic look with the new stadium.
Yeah, it looks like a claw.
Yeah.
And I do have mixed feelings about the dome being torn down, but what do you do?
Oh, well.
All right, Brendan's here with the GRU Augusta naming an interim men's golf coach tonight.
Yeah, Paige, they didn't have to go very far to find some help. We'll tell you who it is coming up next. Plus, a pair of injured athletics has been canceled. The Army is scheduled to travel to Boston College on Saturday. So the Department of Defense said no games will be played as long as Congress fails to fund the government on top of everything else. Like, we really didn't need to let these kids play some football, serving their country.
Who knows, that could push them over the edge. Maybe they'll get their act together.
Let's hope.
Thanks, Brendan.
All right, here's your forecast as we head into your Wednesday. Lots of sunshine, 53 in the morning, 86 for the afternoon.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Nightly News with Brian Williams is next. We'll see you for your only local news at 7. Good night.